Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Naina Redhu experience. This is number 83. I had shared in my Instagram stories yesterday that I will be doing this podcast. I have been getting a lot of questions where younger people or people who have been thinking about starting blogs, etc., are asking me, is it too late to be a blogger or influencer in India? The short answer is no, it's not. But to elaborate it a bit so that you can understand where I'm coming from, so that it's, there's always a bit of nuance to all these questions and answers, because the way I look at it or the way someone else looks at it might be different. Whenever you have a conversation like this with someone, you have to understand their background, where are they coming from, etc. Because for someone who is probably coming from a place where they don't have to worry about rent or money, then it's easier for them to say things like, yeah, it's never too late, let's just do this, give it a shot, what's the big deal, what's the max that could happen. But if you're looking at blogging and influencing as a career which will pay your bills and make you reasonably wealthy, not super rich or anything, let me tell you that, then there are different caveats that apply, which you need to understand how the business works, etc. Of course, the first thing I tell everybody whenever you're thinking of being a blogger and an influencer is, it is a little silly to call your own self an influencer. At the end of the day, we are all influencers. We influence our parents, we influence our immediate friends and family. If someone comes and asks us, things like, for example, what refrigerator are you using? Has it done well? Has it given any problems? I'm thinking of buying a new refrigerator. So whatever information, for example, I give to them, I'm influencing them. So from that point of view, we are all influencers. Like, we really need to get the fuck over this shit that, influencers, we need to work with influencers. Aise to everyone is an influencer. So on what basis are you deciding that you want to be an influencer? You already are. You want to be a larger influencer, uske liye you need to do something else. You are an influencer if you have influence which is then built on the basis of आप जो अभी काम कर रहे हो, उस काम के बेसिस पे आपका इन्फ्लुएंस बनता है. दूसरे लोग आपके बारे में सुनते हैं, आपकी बात सुनते हैं, आप किस प्रोडक्ट के साथ आप हैप्पी हैं उसके बारे में सुनते हैं. आप कहीं खाना खाने जाते हैं, that I went to this restaurant and I ate this sushi and it was amazing. Whether that brand has paid you or not, if you're going to say good things only if a brand pays you, trust me, the audience knows this. मतलब बाकी लोग बेवकूफ नहीं है. People are making decisions to make purchases or spend their hard-earned money. They're not just going to listen to any Tom, Dick and Harry. And if someone does that, if a customer, for example, buys a product on the basis of my recommendation, and then the product doesn't serve them well or they have a really bad experience, they're never going to trust me again. So this is like playing roulette. If you're just getting paid and then you are saying, this product is good, then you are losing trust in the long run, and that's not a good way to kind of do this. For me, I was a photographer. I still am a photographer. That is where my influence comes from. So things like, and the other things that I do in life, for example, I paint. So, I can talk about that, okay, the Pebeo acrylics were not all that good, or, Camlin acrylics are too thin. What was the medium I used? Winsor & Newton matte sprays. These are products I'm using. And on the basis of these products, I'm actually selling paintings. See, at the end of the day, we're all in this we want to survive. We want to live a life of dignity, right? So we want to make a certain amount of money that will allow us to sustain a lifestyle. So if you see me doing that or being able to do that, then you want to know कि इसने कैसे किया, and हम भी कर सकते हैं क्या? So let me tell you, yes, हम कर सकते हैं. मैंने अगर किया है तो आप भी कर सकते हो. Seriously, if I have done this, I think you can do it as well. I mean, I keep repeating that I do come from a privileged background. But seriously, the privileged background was like, when I did my MBA, even getting the 2-3 lakhs to pay for that MBA in those days was really hard for my parents. They did not have that kind of money. They had to, break open some of their deposits, etc. For that, it seems like a meager amount now to me, for which I am extremely grateful. But it's thanks to them. So if you have been afforded that kind of an education where your parents have kind of helped you out, etc., then yeah, you can give it a shot. But I would seriously, very strongly recommend that if you have a day job right now and you are getting by on your day job and you want to explore the arenas of blogging and influencer, being an influencer, please don't quit your day job. Use your day job to enhance your influence. Use your day job to share your experiences on the blog. I have talked about this earlier. I met someone recently. She's a flight steward and she blogs about her experiences on flights. She meets customers, she goes to different cities. Again, I think a flight steward's job is a little more glamorous than regular 9 to 5. Imagine you work in the banking sector or in the accounting sector or something and you want to look at blogging. Trust me, there is a market for that. The way the markets are growing now or the audiences are growing now is that niche audiences, for example, for someone like me, most of the people who follow me appreciate art is probably the widest thing I can fit or slot them in. But they are really different people. Some are photographers, some are artists, some are illustrators, some are fashion designers, some are fashion stylists, some are people who work in film and production, etc. But they all appreciate good visuals. So that's a niche audience. You can get your own niche audience. Maybe you are someone who talks about, what's happening in a bank on a day-to-day basis. I don't know what happens in a bank. If I am interested and I might follow your story, and that's how you develop influence. So it's not कि blogging, अब इतने सारे लोग bloggers बन गए हैं और influencers बन गए इंडिया में, तो अभी हम blogging नहीं कर सकते. That's like, there are so many accountants. Why did you study CA then? Right? It's the same thing that applies to that as well. And there also people say कि we've done CA तो हमें job तो मिल ही जाएगी. कोई guarantee नहीं है किसी भी चीज़ की. So you might as well give this a shot too, but don't quit your day job. Use your current daily life to create a blog or content for your Instagram, and it'll grow slowly. So you have to do that. I think this is the key. You can't, just be famous for the heck of being famous. I mean, you can, but if you're a Kardashian, they come from a very influential family. They have contacts. People like me and a lot of my network, we all come from small middle class nuclear families. I had no networks. Even now, people who have helped me on their own. And these are people like me. It's not that I know somebody who's well connected and I keep asking them for favors and that's how I get a gig. That's not how it works. People will hire you on the basis of whether you're providing value to them, their brand, are you helping sell their product, sell their brand, etc., etc. Anyone can do it. The basics, it's not even कि आपको अंग्रेजी बोलने आनी चाहिए, that you need to know good English. There are regional bloggers or regional YouTubers. These people have day jobs, but they also spend time on the side doing these things because they enjoy it. They like sharing their experiences or things that they have learned with their audience. That is how influence grows. If I learn something from somebody, I'll be like, if someone asks me, I want to learn like food blogging kaise hoti hai, I'll be like, okay, quickly go follow Saffron Trail, or there are a bunch of people that I can recommend. Or food photography. Like, I am a photographer. I don't specialize in food photography. So I might not know how to style a food shoot, right? So if someone comes and asks me, I need to learn food styling. There are so many people online who have shared their knowledge for free. That is an influencer. They are influencing you. They're influencing your friends. They are making you better at what you do. So it's not late at all. Trust me, most of the people who are bloggers or who are influencers, they're not going anywhere. A lot of people will not be able to sustain this because you really need to enjoy this. And this is a lot of work. You need to have something to talk about. You need to be able to share your thoughts. You need to be able to share visuals. You need to be able to write a caption. So there are lots of things which get tedious really, really quickly. If you are someone who has a day job and you're able to, blog consistently for 6 months, then you can start looking at monetizing it. Because, if you've done it for 6 months consistently, not कि महीने में एक बार you do a blog post in once in a month and then you're like, okay, हो गया, I'm a blogger. No, consistently set a goal for yourself that 3 times a week I'm going to update my blog with something. and then go and do it. If you're able to sustain this for 6 months, then you are in a position where you can look at this a little more seriously. You can look at monetizing it. You can look at, reaching out for collaborations and partnerships. And maybe you can start with collaborating with, other influencers and bloggers. We are always looking to collaborate with other influencers and bloggers. It's really easy. I tried doing that live thing with Nandita recently. Unfortunately, it didn't work out because the network was so shit. But, see, she has a certain number of followers. I have a certain number of followers. We'll have some in common, but very little. So, her audience is introduced to me and my audience is introduced to her. So, there might be 10 people in her audience who are like, oh, acha, is type ki photography bhi hoti hai, lifestyle blogger bhi hota hai. I want to follow Naina and see what she does. And there might be one person there who might actually find it useful, who might, buy a ticket to one of my workshops. So at the end of the day, my goal is that. The reason I'm spending time collaborating with other influencers is to possibly reach their audience. So if it's a genuine audience, great, I want to do it. It doesn't matter what the size of the audience is. So this whole thing of, numbers or brands, like, aapke to itne followers hain, uske itne zyada hain, this is going to go away. It's not going to stay for too long because this is not a sustainable model. If you have been charging on the basis of how many followers you have, it's not going to work because brands are going to say that hame kya mila isse, right? If I as an influencer partner with another influencer and I say that, okay, I want to work with you, how much do you charge? I want you to promote my workshop, for example, which is a product that I'm currently selling. If I work with them once and I spend like 50,000 bucks with them, it doesn't make sense because the total money I'm making on the workshop is around 50,000 minus the cost of the room, etc. Right? I'm literally breaking it down into numbers. So I'm going to look at someone who's like, okay, spend 500 bucks, maybe 2,000 bucks with like a good influencer. Like I can't spend more than that because this particular product doesn't justify that kind of spending, right? So then if I don't get any traction, like if they share a link in their Insta stories and say, check out Naina's workshop, and I can go and see where the traffic to the workshop page is coming from. And if I don't get a single click from there, to me, I'll be like, okay, this didn't really get me anything. Brands actually do keep screenshots and say that, acha, we worked with this influencer, kuch aaya nahi. Ya kuch aaya, blog se aaya, kahan se aaya. It's hard to track. Also, a lot of the audience doesn't immediately click and say, okay, I want to buy this. They'll come back to it 3 months later when they have a need for it. Cheaper products are easier to sell in that sense because, it's a dress for $1,000 and you'll be like, let me just click on it and buy it. So it also depends on what kind of blogger and influencer you want to be. Like I don't typically do the wear a dress, wear makeup, do shoes, how do you put lipstick. I don't typically do that. My kind of business is totally different. So you also have to figure out what kind of influencer you want to be. If you're thinking, oh, I'll just wear a dress and hang a bag and suddenly I'm an influencer, then it might be a little tougher because that market is inundated. So you have to understand the market, you have to understand the business. It is a business at the end of the day. If you are coming to it just saying, oh, I have no dearth of money, I am not doing this for the money, I just want to wear pretty clothes, then you can just, buy all these followers and pretend like you're an influencer. Who cares? But if you're looking at running this as a sustainable business in the long run, trust me, it's not too late at all because there are very few of us who are doing it like that. So I guess that answers the question. I hope it is an ever-growing market. You have to provide some value or learning in the long run, whether it is a story you're sharing, giving your perspective that not a lot of people know about. If it is an industry that not a lot of people know about, then yes, you will get an audience. And cool. So I hope that answers the question, is it too late to be a blogger or influencer in India? And the answer is, it is not. Thank you for listening and do tune in next week. Cheers. Bye.